but I hate it. so I grew up with the feeling that I was a good person, everything was wonderful, and there was no need until I met this lady. And obviously she was a woman of God, and there was this question in my mind at the beginning, how is this going to work out? But I always tell people, and if I turn red, you forgive me. I believe if there is love, that there is no power of this on this earth that could withstand that power. When I first saw her, what is it, head over heels, fell in love with her, and nothing was gonna come in between us. And slowly, we were married 15 years or so before I became a Christian. Was it 20? But I knew she was praying for me. All of our friends that we met through our church were praying for me. And time to time they would tell me, passing, oh, llhami, by the way, I'm praying for you. I said, well, Muslims believe in prayer. My grandmother prayed 5 times a day. But before I went to school, he said, okay, what exams do you have today? I want to pray. When is the exam? She would pray for me so that I would have the knowledge and God would bring me to my mind to I remember what I studied. So it was perfectly okay for me to pray. But then, very subtly, my good friends changed the narrative a little bit. Then they started saying, I'm praying for your salvation. I never heard that word before, actually, salvation. So I said, okay. And I'm thinking, okay, now what does that mean? But I already built up friendships with them. I really loved all of our, group that we did. We were much younger, so we would have dinner parties and such. And except me, everybody would be a Christian, and they would be my guests in our house. We would have a wonderful time. Slowly, that feeling started moving in my heart. And then I was not putting that wall up anymore. And the reason I was putting the wall, I was so comfortable in my own skin, the way it was, I was afraid to make changes. And that is the biggest problem for non-practicing Muslims today, as far as I'm concerned. They are afraid by changing, by accepting Christ, for example, that they are going to have problems with their families, immediate families, their friends, and with themselves. Once you can get over that, I think it becomes a much more easier decision to make. And people ask me, why did my Turkish side of family and friends always ask me, why did you, what happened? Because it's a tremendous thing for them, some Muslim becoming a Christian. And I thought about this, and I came up with the conclusion that easiest way to explain to people is that, I always believe God, yes, and I know you believe God, yes. I said, finally dawned on me that on my own, my goodness is not going to cut it to be in the presence of God with my own power. When I met Jesus Christ, when it dawned on me that He already done it for me, that He would carry the load, then the weight got off, and then I say, I did it for selfish reason because I knew I wasn't going to cut it on my own. So I moved to this side. Now he carries my load. And then they are looking at me. It's difficult for Muslims to, even they know me personally, they love me. It's still difficult. And I feel so strongly for them because they live in a society, they don't get to hear this type of speech. They don't have friendships. So it is so important. If someone like me can, born and raised in Turkey, come out to this place and make the change, became a Christian, and gone to Indian reservation, it doesn't really matter where, working with the little ones who have physically nothing, monetarily nothing, emotionally nothing, to teach them that there is someone that will carry you because they don't have anybody in their lives. And you can actually talk to them this way. And this is our hope, that we raise these children with the notion that Christ already done all this stuff. He suffered all these things that you have and you may suffer in the future, but He will be holding your hand if you don't grab and don't let go. So my story is, everything is possible, as we know, with God. Even a Turkish boy coming out of Turkey, growing, normal circumstances, 99% Muslims also around him. And I'm so comfortable to be able to tell you that I gave my life to Christ, and I am willingly and in a very fun way. We enjoy our life. People can't believe us that we put this many miles in our car. We spend our own resources. We only ask people to donate that goes directly to the school. We do not receive one penny benefit from the school. Everything that Ann and I do, that goes to the school altogether. So, and I would like to really thank Tim and all of you. You've been a great, I have known some of you now personally. And when I was hugging you guys, it was really from my heart. It wasn't just for show. And I didn't want to scare all the rest of you. So I thank you. You have no idea what a platform this is for our little school. We are a little poor Christian school in the Indian Reservation, and we do appreciate every little help that you can do for us. And God bless you.
Tell them about that. We have anywhere from 3 to 5 children accept the Lord every year. And we just had one yesterday accept, who has been in our school for many years, and he just has been holding out, and I feel like it's because of his stubbornness. He's lived with llhami and I during the summer, and he's lived with the teachers. His mom is a drug addict, and his daddy is dead. Wow. So anyway, Thomas called me yesterday and said, Miss Ann, I accepted Jesus.
Let me ask you a couple of questions, and then
thank you.
What are the grades?
From kindergarten to 9th grade this year.
And we add a grade every year, because as we started with first and second.
At first year, this year, for the first time, each of our classes are assigned, a teacher is assigned to a class. Up to this point, we had like 3rd and 4th together, and 2nd and 3rd together. This year, each class has their own teacher now.
How many students total?
80.
80, and then are you the headmaster?
No, Ann is the CEO of the corporation. We are a 501c3. I'm the president of the board, but we have nothing to do running the school. We have a headmaster on site, obviously, and all the teachers, and, cook, and
this is the Indian. So all these children live on the Indian reservation.
Yeah, right there in Eagle Butte is the head of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Reservation. It's one of the largest reservations in the United States, actually, territory.
Size of Connecticut.
Yeah, it's a huge territory, and the government lives there. The tribal council is there, so we are right in the middle of all. And I might add, we have now students, tribal council members, children and grandchildren are attending school. In our 8th year, finally the community realized and saw that the children that go to that school are acting, speaking, and learning differently. And another thing that she always brags about that I might tell you is that we test our children every year against the United States schools. In South Dakota, all the schools test against South Dakota schools. So it's much easier and much better percentage. This year, our kindergarten class scores 70th percentile, which is unheard in any Indian reservation. We are so proud. I can hardly hold myself. It's amazing what these children know. And anybody that sees the performance of that class, we have a 2 or 3 year waiting list on our kindergarten class. Because when you start right, these kids are as smart as anybody else. Yeah. But if you don't work and if you don't teach them at that stage, you lose them forever.
Why the despair on the Indian reservation? I mean, you hear about the high alcohol alcoholism rates, drugs.
Yeah. Meth.
Then that's just, that's what.
Mexican cartel there, with permission
And another sad thing,
Permission
Tim,
from who?
from the
Tribal.
tribal
Tribal
council.
council, because they are protecting them and
That
everybody.
brings in money to them individually.
The big, I think one of the other hidden and not spoken much disaster is that suicide is a terrible, terrible thing in the Indian reservations, and ours is no exception. And also abuse, all kinds of child abuse. And the child abuse, nobody speaks about. And it is, Ann and I interviewed many young people, particularly one girl told us that all the years that she went through school, she's 24 now, 23, she says she has never ever met another girl who was not sexually abused, not one.
Her mother sold her at the
And
age of 7.
she didn't exclude herself either. In other words, she including herself. And to me, that is the saddest picture, because these children are broken for the rest of their lives from that point on forward.
So what is it about living on a reservation that causes that? You see what
They're
I'm saying?
isolated.
Huh?
They're isolated.
Isolated.
They are, well, there is prejudice between, both sides. Indian people, Native Americans are also prejudiced against the so-called white people. They don't want to leave their territories because they are afraid that they are going to run into trouble if they do. And we try to tell them, this is United States. You are American citizen. Yeah, you are Indian. I said, look, I was a Turkish guy. Nothing to do with America. I am an American citizen now. I am American. You are more American than me. Go out, do some things. And that's why we are trying to educate these kids. She also failed to mention in our plans right now, in the next 2 years, we would like to start a vocational school, so that some of the children who they are going through our high school grades will learn a trade. And not everybody, as you know, needs to go to college, and at least they will have some kind of a trade to fall back on, and then they find jobs and can. Also trying to talk them into life is about you grow up, you meet your soulmate, you get married, you start a family, you have children. Over there they are having children left and right. There's no family. I mean, there's no marriages, nothing. So it is multifaceted. Problems are, you name it,
Right.
got it.
Well, praise God. And what's the name of the school for those who want to look it up on the internet?
Windswept Academy, and if you push windsweptacademy.org, you get all kinds of information.
And
And on Facebook too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Facebook too.
And you all, do you still accept groups in the summer to come in?
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
do.
gosh, this past summer,
Yeah.
there was not one penny spent on labor. It was all free.
Why? Because
They
church
came-
groups?
Church
That's
came?
right.
groups from all over the United States came to
And also,
build
we
the
would love to
duplex.
invite you, forget groups, come
Yeah.
individually, bring it's a beautiful, that is America. It's actually, to me, I lived in the East Coast all my American life until we moved to South Dakota. Now I realize, this is America.
Right.
This is beautiful America. It's free, and people still handshake. Life is like what they tell me it used to be. It reminded me old time in Turkey when I was growing up. The community would, if you did something wrong, they said, get that cigarette out of your mouth.
By the way, the hair's real.
And I appreciate it. Thank you. We love you guys. Thank you.
All right.